Welcome back to the Michael Maher Show. Today is Monday, September 26, 2022. This is episode 88, and I'm joined by Parker Fox, basketball player for the University of Minnesota and host of the new podcast, Double Down Podcast. And dude, it's a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Started my own podcast. This is fun for me to learn things off new people and pick up new tricks. So appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man. And could you just give everyone a quick background of kind of what your podcast is about and where you got the inspiration to start it?
Yeah, the podcast is called the Double Down Podcast. You can find it on any platform. All that good fun. So I started the podcast. It was something that I had kind of had in my mind for a while, especially when NIL became a thing. Being able to monetize your name, image, and likeness, and then kind of just sprouted as with my injuries. I tore both my ACLs, and I know a lot of other athletes across the country have deal with injury and adversity and all that kind of stuff. So that's where it started from. That's where it sprouted from. And, I'm looking forward to just, getting athletes on the podcast and dive deeper into, what their injury was or what their adversity was or, what they fought through to be back on the court or, back on the playing field. I'm doing a lot of basketball, being a basketball player, but, I'm trying to expand my horizons and hit a bunch of sports, male and female and, just talk to people and hear their raw emotions on, mental health and emotional stresses and, the physical endurance that it takes to go through an injury. So it's a little bit of that. And then it's also, just learning about new people and having a lot of fun with it. So, yeah.
Is that something that, like, even before NIL came around like a year or two ago, is that something you kind of want to dabble in, was the media side of sports?
Oh yeah, I've always been in sports my whole life. And both of my degrees are in sports, so sports is my life. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of sports podcasts. You talk about Part of My Take or No Chill Gilbert Arenas, or The Old Man and the Three with JJ Redick. I've been a podcast guy, and I'm a kind of a social guy that likes to try new things. So I wanted to try this new thing out, and it's going well so far. And I'm learning every single day, and there's so many fun sports stories to tell about sports. A lot of things that you don't hear in the media, especially in the mainstream media, and being able to create your own kind of media and hear the stuff that you don't get to see on TV is that's the stuff I want to hit on. This is stuff I want to talk about with.
Like, who are like three or four like top guests you'd really like to eventually get one day? Like, once you build up the
Yeah,
brand a little more.
no, it's a great question. I definitely have my bucket list. I would say like my real bucket list of people would be like my top guy is Clay Thompson. Like if I could get Clay, like that's like my dream.
That'd be
Obviously,
sick, dude.
yeah, Clay. I mean, he had the ACL and the Achilles, so he had back-to-back injuries just like myself. So like Clay would be the dream. But Robbie Hummel is one that I really want to get in the podcast. He tore both of his ACLs at Purdue. Haven't reached out to him yet, but definitely will at some point. He's on there. I have a couple connections with Zach LaVine. He had the ACL injury, so like to try to explore that that route. But I'm trying not to limit myself. I'm trying to, start with the people I know really well, especially around Minnesota, and then just continue to build and grow using my platforms to grow. And then, if that takes me to, an opportunity to get NBA guys on the pod, I love it. And if it doesn't, if it, stays more local, then, that's what it is. But yeah, definitely have some names that I want to try to get on, but got to work my way up. I think a lot of people dabble with, the Joe Rogan podcast and that kind of stuff and listen to that. The Nelk Boys started a podcast, and they have some pretty cool guests on it. I usually tend to see kind of who the guest of the show is, and if I want to listen to what they have to say or hear something from them more than the show itself. So definitely try to expand my horizons with that kind of stuff and tap into some more podcasts is something I got to continue to do for sure and get better at.
Yeah. And now onto your playing career. You played 3 seasons at Northern State University, averaged 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 blocks, and 2 steals. So you were like statistic machine all over the place. But like, what are some standout memories that you have from your time at Northern State before you transferred to Minnesota?
Yeah, man, so many. I going to Northern State was kind of random. It's kind of something that I didn't really think I was going to do. Go to Aberdeen, South Dakota, and play basketball. I didn't. That wasn't my plan or trajectory, but I think it was perfect for me. It was a spot that allowed me to grow not only as a basketball player but as a human and as a young man. And I met some amazing fans and friends. And I think I started off with freshman year. Playing in the national championship game, being on a team that went to the national championship. just the memories we created throughout the whole tournament. It's obviously, it's a D2 school, so it's different than, the D1 March Madness and all that kind of stuff. But they have their own level of it, and it was really fun. And playing against really good competition. And unfortunately, we lost the national championship game. We missed the buzzer beater to win it, but just an incredible journey with the group of guys. Winning 35 games or whatever it was. Like that whole year was, just such a great learning experience for me. And then transitioning into really being out on the court and playing valuable minutes. I think one of my favorite memories that I'll remember for the rest of my life was my last game at Northern. It was the Sweet 16 game, and Division Two does it a little different, where you host the region. So you host up to the Sweet 16, and the Elite Eight is in its own separate area. And so we were hosting the region, and we were playing Northwest Missouri State, who is a powerhouse in Division Two. I think they've won 4 out of the last 6 years, national champions. They got guys in the NBA. Trevor Hudgens is on the Rockets, that kind of stuff, and just a powerhouse of a team. And they came into our place, and we got to play them. And I just remember just being able to play so free and just having such a good fun time playing basketball. And that's actually the last basketball game I've played, which is kind of crazy to think about, with my injuries and that kind of stuff. But just being out there, I think I had a crazy stat line, or whatever it was. None of that stuff matters. It was just like the adrenaline and the emotion I had playing basketball. I think it really is a testament to like how much I love and I live the sport. It was just the most fun game I've ever played. And I have so many awesome memories with so many awesome people that I wouldn't be able to hit every single one. But I was very fortunate to play in a place that loved basketball, and play for some really good coaches, and play with some really good teammates. So have a lot of great memories of that place.
Was basketball always your first passion when you were growing up? Like, when did you first start playing ball, and when did you kind of realize that you wanted to play after high school?
Yeah, I mean, my dad put a ball in my hand when I was, probably in the crib, that kind of stuff. Like basketball was a focus for sure. Something, obviously my parents were both educators, so school was really important, and getting the degrees was important. But um I think I really fell in love with basketball my sophomore summer going into my junior year. I didn't really play it all my sophomore year, and I was like, I want to be good. I want to be a good basketball player. So I really put the time and the effort in, and then it showed my junior year. I think I averaged 20 plus, and then senior year, around 25, something like that. So just really putting the energy and effort in. But I think at that point I still only loved basketball. It wasn't until my after my freshman year summer that I like started to live the sport, and I like, think about it in a different way, and consume my life with the sport. Obviously I think I'm more than just a basketball player, but just the sport means so much to me as a whole. I consume my life with it. Whether it's watching college or NBA, or, in my free time, I'll just watch film on synergy. And I just love the nuances of the game. I love the interaction between players and coaches. And like, I think it's the most in the world. So it's something I love, and it's something that is definitely consuming me, and it will probably consume me for the rest of my life. But I think it's where I'm meant to be. So
It's such a great sport because, like, I feel like the fans are like on top of the action because, like, you're
yeah,
so close. No one's wearing, like, in football, like, you're wearing a helmet, so you can't really like see the face as well. But like basketball, you can hear the talking, you hear the chirping on the court, you can hear the communication between the players. So
oh, yeah, 100%. And I'm the kind of guy where if you've seen me play, I play with a lot of emotion, a lot of passion. I try to get the crowd into it, with dunking and that kind of stuff. And at Northern, one of the really cool memories that I have is like we have a courtside seating, and we have donors and boosters that sit courtside that just love Northern, and they love basketball. And I just remember just like after games being able to like give them high fives, and sign jerseys and that kind of stuff. And like it probably meant like the world to them. And it's a lot of something that you don't really think about all the time as a player. But I'm the kind of guy where I'm trying to spread love, and spread all that kind of positivity. And it was just amazing, that energy that they brought. And just trying to give it back to them, because it's ultimately bigger than just one individual guy. So
when you got the offer to transfer to Minnesota, was it hard to leave Northern State, or was that something going into the tournament play after your third season that you kind of knew you were going to move on from there?
yeah, I mean, in brutal honesty, I knew my time at Northern was coming to an end. I had achieved everything except for a national championship that I had hoped to achieve there. Being conference player of the year and two-time defensive player of the year, and all these accolades. Being an All-American is, all those things combined into one. And I knew I had to make my next step in my journey. I think basketball's a cool sport because it really is a journey. Wherever you're at, there's always another level that you can get to. Even if you're LeBron James, there's another level that you can get to. And for me, it just Northern being an amazing stepping stone for me, and being able to enter the transfer portal and decide where I wanted to go to school, and then eventually ended up being Minnesota. I definitely a tough decision to leave that place because it was my only offer out of high school, and it was the only place that really gave me a shot. So I'll always have love for it, but I think just being a stepping stone to my next location for sure.
And you're from Minnesota. That's your home state. Was it kind of always a dream for you to play ball at the University of Minnesota?
Oh, no question. Yeah, I mean, if I would have had the offer in high school, I would have taken it. I wasn't quite there yet, physically and mentally with the game. And, I wasn't a good enough basketball player, if I'm being brutally honest yet. And then I put the work in and, got to that opportunity, and I achieved that kind of dream and that kind of story. And, it makes it pretty sweet. Obviously I haven't played yet, but once I get that opportunity, it'll be pretty amazing. But yeah, like you mentioned, I'm from Minnesota. And my house is 20 minutes away from my apartment here on campus. So I grew up loving the Gophers, cheering the Gophers on. I could tell you any stat about the Gophers. Like I didn't miss a game when I was at Northern. I'd always have it on the TV, and I'd be wearing Gopher sweatshirts around the facility at Northern. Like that everybody knew that was my team. So I think when I entered the portal, a lot of people knew where I was going. Even though I kind of took my time a little bit.
So what was that transfer process like for you? Like how did they reach out to you? How did you guys like get connected and eventually move on to becoming a member of their team?
Yeah, it was the whole process was pretty crazy. It was a lot of talking on the phone, a lot of trying to figure out where to go. I think I had over like 50 D1 offers. So it was a pretty crazy process. I think basically anywhere in the country I kind of wanted to go was wanted me, so that was really rewarding, just knowing that how hard I worked, it kind of paid off, and the success I had was kind of being valued and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Coach Johnson just recruited me, and I built a relationship with Coach Johnson, and I trusted him. And I like I said, Minnesota was where I wanted to go. I just needed to, feel love and feel that they wanted me and they needed me and that kind of thing. And both those feelings were reciprocated. So I told Ben I want to be a Gopher, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. So I remember, for a story to be exact, I remember my freshman year, I was sitting on the couch with some of the guys, and they were off kind of doing their own thing in the living room and all that kind of stuff. And I was sitting next to our point guard, and his name's Ian Smith. And I remember my freshman year, because I didn't play, I redshirted, and I remember asking him, like, am I good enough? Am I good enough to play here? Do you think I'll ever be good enough to play here? Just having doubts about my skill and my ability and all that kind of stuff. And I'll remember for the rest of my life what he said to me. Is just like, you just have to have that belief and that faith in yourself. And he's like, I believe in you, and if I believe in you, you got to believe in you too. And I'll remember that conversation forever, and I'm very grateful for Ian. And that's kind of when that spark kind of flipped. And like I said, I was able to go on and have a really, really, really good career at Northern. And I don't think that's a testament to the whole story. You obviously got to put in the work, but having that mindset that he kind of instilled in me and helped instill in me, it really flipped the switch. And I have that to this day. Just the confidence and the belief in myself. I think you see it when you watch me play basketball. I play like there's nothing else going on, and then every single play is my last. And some people might not like it, and it might look a little you know out there and all that kind of stuff. But I have to play that way because it's who I am as a person. And I just love the game, and I think you can see it in my play.
So what's some advice that you'd give to someone who may struggle with self-belief? Like through your experiences, what is something that you would tell someone that could, kind of rebound their mindset?
Yeah, I think the thing that comes up to me always is, I didn't have any offers out of high school. So, I had the one offer. So, my whole mindset, my whole career at Northern was to prove everybody wrong. Like screw the coaches that didn't offer me, or like, why didn't they do this or that? I got to prove them wrong. And that was like, always my mentality was, PTW. I would write it on everything. I'd tweet it out, all that kind of stuff. And then, I kind of had a flip of a switch, I think my last year at Northern. And I was like, it's less about proving other people wrong, and it's more about proving yourself right. Having that belief internally that you're good enough, or you're worth it, or you have the ability to do it. So I think that would be my number one advice to somebody is, you don't got to worry about what other people are saying. You don't got to worry about not having this or that. You just got to prove yourself right. You got to flip that switch in your head mentally, and be able to realize that you're worth it, or you're able, and to prove yourself right. It's less about proving others wrong, more about proving yourself right. I think once you can kind of get that mindset down, it's you can achieve anything. So
So you kind of had like a chip on your shoulder when you were coming out of high school.
oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, for example, I remember, I printed off the name of every single school and their head coach and their mascot, and
Damn.
how many fans they average, and I put it up over my door in my high school bedroom, and I would look at it every single day when I walked out the door. And this was just getting ready for college, and it was just one of those things that like added fuel to the fire. And I just had the attitude is like every time I went and played a team, I wanted that coach to regret not offering me. I wanted that coach to feel like, damn, I'm an idiot for not offering this kid. And I tried to make him think that, and I feel like I did. We won so many games, and I had so much individual success, and we had so much team success, and that was kind of my mentality going in. And there were some schools that were more than other, for sure. Schools that had talked to me, and kind of didn't want to pull the trigger on me and offer me and all that kind of stuff. And so I definitely had that mindset. And I think I shake their hand a little longer in the handshake line to let them know about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think you got to have that kind of stuff too. You got to have that internal fire and that internal drive, and because basketball's such a long season, and it's such a grueling process that if you're not in it, and if you're not competitive, and you don't have that spirit, it's hard to maintain it, for sure.
And now onto your academic career. You're getting your master's in sports management at the University of Minnesota right now. What do the next 10 years look like for you?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. Man, I don't even know if I have that answer for you. Hopefully a lot of basketball, man. Right now is my main focus is, recovering, and, getting my right leg back to where it was, and, getting healthy again. And then once that's complete, playing a year of basketball here at the U, and then playing wherever wants me. Obviously, I had a trajectory for, to play in the NBA, and that was, my plan. And, it's kind of, altered a little bit, but I still believe in what I can do, and my plans for my future. But I know I'm going to be playing a lot of basketball, whether it's here or overseas. And then when that's done, working in basketball, I think I know the game pretty well. So whatever side of that brings me, whether it's a front office kind of side, or a coaching side, or a training side, or a marketing side, or there's so many different avenues, and different ways you can go in the sport. And just finding my niche and finding what I think suits me best. I don't think I have that answer per se yet, but
Mhm.
definitely staying in basketball, whether it's here in Minneapolis, or somewhere else. I love the sport too much to leave it. So
Is that something you're pretty passionate about? Is like coaching and training people, or not so much?
yeah, I think more the training side is something I'm more passionate about. Watching kids not being able to do something, and then teaching them, and then helping them, learn, and reach their full potential. I think that's really interesting. I definitely am interested in the coaching route. I think coaching is interesting. I think it's a hard profession. I think it's a profession that you need to go through some of, like, the dog years of not really being at where you want to be at. But if you can reach that level, it becomes pretty rewarding. So I don't think I have it figured out of what I want to do yet, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, and you have to have that like leadership mindset. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
be like a great coach.
Oh, no doubt. And I think that's one of my best qualities as a player too. Being able to
Mhm.
motivate other people, and lead. And I think within a team you need to have accountability. You need to be able to get on your teammates a little bit, and um, not have it be personal. It's for the sport. And if you get on somebody, and if somebody gets on me, it's reciprocated, and it's for the betterment of the team. So I've always kind of been that guy that is the first one to talk in the huddle, and the first one to um, admit my own mistakes, and get on other people in a constructive criticism manner. And yeah, I think all my coaches have had, that kind of leadership qualities, and I think I'm really grateful and have learned from them in
Mhm.
a really good way.
So this kind of ties into the question I just asked, like the future outlook. But so once your playing days are done, after you know have the NBA career that you want, you said basketball, but what would be your dream occupation? Like I perfect scenario, what would you like it to be?
Ah, man, this is kind of crazy, but like the GM of the Timberwolves would like be my like
That'd be
dream
sick, dude.
job. Yeah, because I'm a Timberwolves fan, like diehard Timberwolves fan. I went to 90% of their home games last year. I think I went to 37 Timberwolves games last year. So, being in Minneapolis is just on the road, 5 to 10 minutes. So easy to get there, especially when we don't have practice. And I just live and breathe the Timberwolves. And so that would be like my dream. But I also love the marketing side of sports. I graduated with the undergrad in sport marketing. So I would love to, I think I would be really good at that too, like the fan experience and the game day experience, and that side of basketball. That's a little different, a little laid back, a little more laid back than a GM or a VP or something like that. But something that's also really important to the game day itself. If you don't have crowd support, if you don't have if you don't market the event, you're not going to have the same energy and you're not going to have the same quality of team. So it's I see it in our own program too. When everybody in the program, has to be on the same page, and you have to be locked in and all across the board from the top to the bottom. So
I think it's really cool that you have like kind of like you're knowledgeable and like you pay attention to every aspect of the game. Like not just the product on the court, but like I feel like you like just based off hearing you say it, like you kind of are familiar with everything that goes on with the game.
oh, without a doubt, and like I said, I live it. I think I understand basketball at a really really high rate, and especially being injured these 2 years, you get to see and you get to sit back and kind of observe a little bit more, and you get to see like there's so much that goes into a basketball game. It's like it's months of lifting, it's months of practice, it's months of the coaches getting practice plans ready and scouts and game plans ready, and then there's the whole other side of the facilities management, all that kind of stuff. All this stuff comes together as one, and I think I've really been able to kind of observe that the last year and a half, and I think a lot of people don't understand what goes into, especially Power Five, high major college basketball, and then getting onto the NBA. It's like you need a team of hundreds of people that are all connected and clicking, and for anything to go right. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm interested in, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know really exactly what kind of path or where I want to go with it, but I know I understand it and I love it, and I want to be a part of it, in my future. So
Mhm. And you said obviously like Power Five basketball is way different than a lot of basketball goes on around the country at the collegiate level. Did anything surprise you when you made the transfer from Northern State to Minnesota? Did anything kind of catch you off guard about Big Ten basketball?
yeah, I think obviously the basketball side of it, guys are taller, guys are stronger, guys are more athletic, um, guys are faster, that kind of stuff. It's still good basketball, and wherever you go, it's just it just becomes a little better. But I
Hmm.
think the one thing that I really took me by, not even surprise, but just one thing I really recognized early is the amount of people that are around the program. I think back to Northern, we had our team at practice, maybe a manager, 2 or 3 coaches, and then our athletic trainer who would be running the scoreboard. And now it's like at practice we got the team, we got 15 managers, we got 10 coaches, we got a nutritionist, we got 2 athletic trainers, we got a girl whose strictly only job is to run the scoreboard. It's just there's so much that more that goes into the production of of the sport, and rightfully so. You're competing on national television, you're competing in front of a national audience. You got to be locked in, you got to be putting out a solid product for the viewers, and so a lot goes into that, and there's a lot of money within the program, and so I get it, but I just like living it, you kind of see it, and it's like this is real, this is I'm
Yeah.
in it now. This is Power Five basketball.
What would you say is the most memorable game you've ever played in? If you can pinpoint like one game.
Man, I think I'd have to go back to that game. There's two that stick out. There's the Moorhead game, the game we played against Moorhead at home, where I had like no, Winona. We played Winona at home, and it's a little backstory on this one. Is Winona is kind of this one of the schools that I really wanted to go to. And I don't think a lot of people even know the story, but I had went and visited Winona twice, and really wanted to go there. And this scout, this like prep hoop scout, he told me, he's like, no one's going to offer you, da 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 da, like get ready for it. And it never came, and it never, the offer never came. So I ended up going to Northern, and um, I remember the first game we played against Winona, and it was at home, and I was like, I want to kill these guys. Like I want to, like I want to show them like you made a mistake and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And that was a game I had my career high. I think it was like 38 or 39, and I just had a really good game. And you know, I remember. So we were down, we were up one with 10 seconds left, and they had the ball. And one of their guys drove to the lane and basically had a wide open layup, and I came from the help side and blocked it off the glass. And I kind of remember wagging my finger towards the crowd, and their bench was there, and I have a picture. I can send it to you, and it's their head coach just staring at me, and I have my finger up, and you could just see the defeat on his face and the smile on my face. It's the only picture on my camera roll that's favorited, and it'll probably be the only picture on my camera roll forever that's favorited. And it was kind of just a testament to myself, and I was like, you did it, that type of deal. And
Yeah.
then then the Northwest Missouri State game, just the last game I played of basketball, I just I miss it. So yeah, definitely that one.
And you said, like, obviously you play with a lot of passion, and you like to get the fans involved and chirp when you can. What would you say is the most disrespectful move you've ever pulled off in a game?
Man, I actually know what it is. I remember I caught the ball. I can't remember who it was against, but I faced up and I had the lane to myself, and I did a inside out move, and the defender went this way to the left and I went to the right, and I just threw down like I took the ball and I like cranked it to the side. I threw the ball down like super hard dunk. And I can't remember what I said, and I don't even know what I said, to be honest with you, but I said something along the lines of the guy that couldn't, like, you can't guard me, or some little chirp
Yeah.
like that. But, that stuff goes on in basketball all the time. And I just remember the guy like yelling something back. He didn't even have anything to say. He's like, nobody likes you, and I was like, all right, I just scored on you. So
Yeah.
just a little chirp. He had nothing to say, and that was probably one of my favorite moves. But as a team, I remember, shout out my guy Cole Dahl. He dived on a loose ball at Crookston, and was on the ground, and he couldn't even see. He threw it over his head, like a no look pass, and I was leaking out, and I caught it, and I did a 360 dunk.
That's
Um,
disgusting.
and I hung on the rim a little too long and celebrated. I ended up getting teed up, but the ref came up to me. He's like, "Man, I have to give you a technical, but that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen." So you wear the technical there a little bit, but
Yeah.
like you said, playing with a lot of emotion and passion, and I had really good teams that allowed me to do that. I had some really good point guards I played with that really found the ball, found me, and we had a lot of fun.
So what would you say is like the coolest dunk, I guess, that you've ever pulled off? Not necessarily like in a game, but even in practice or in training. Because I mean, when you go on your Instagram, there's some wild dunks. If you check out the videos, dude, it's pretty crazy.
Once I was really able to dunk really well, I'm creative, and I wanted to try new things and test new things out and see what I could do. So I think one of my favorite ones is like jumping over somebody with them holding the ball above their head and put it between my legs, or doing a 360 off the side of the glass, or a 360 between the legs. Those are kind of some of my favorite things and that I can do on my own. But then in game would definitely be my second year at Northern. We were playing up at Crookston. This is at Crookston again. And I just set a side ball screen. I rolled to the rim and caught a pocket pass, a bounce pass, and I just went up to dunk it. And the help side defender came, and I remember, the video is like perfect. It's like a perfect angle, and you can see like my body basically like warp around this guy's body, and my legs and my legs go up and my arms go out, and basically I just dunked it on him so hard, and I hung on the rim and he was on the ground. And just a pretty crazy video, and a really cool dunk. It was a and one dunk, and brought a lot of energy, and we got the win that day. So
Dude, they need I mean, I understand why they don't have it, but if they had a college dunk contest, that would be sick. Or like a college like all-star weekend. But like I
yeah,
feel like the dunks would just be wild. I mean, some of these kids are so athletic and have bunnies like out the gym.
yeah, no, I agree. It's there's a lot of athleticism, and like I said, you see it, moving up from Division II to Power Five, is
Mhm.
guys can do things physically that is pretty impressive. Sometimes even leaves me in awe. So yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
Hey, Parker, it was a pleasure getting to interview you, man. Everyone scroll down below. Check out Parker on Instagram at ParkerFox23 and on Twitter at ParkerFox24. Make sure to check out the Double Down podcast. When do you guys drop?
We drop every Friday on every single platform. You know, it releases at midnight on, you know, Thursday at midnight. So it's available on Fridays, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, however you want to get it. You know, like I said, we talk about emotional health and mental health, and having a lot of fun doing it. So I appreciate you having me on, and great time with you.
Of course, man. Yeah. And I look forward to keeping up and, you know, that comeback you're going to have next season. Big time, bro. But in the meantime, keep grinding out these podcasts and, you know, keep moving forward.
Yes, sir. You guys are going to see it. Appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. All right, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on any audio platform, please rate 5 stars. Today was Monday, September 26, 2022, episode 88. I was joined by Parker Fox, basketball player for the University of Minnesota and host of the Double Down podcast. I'm your host of the show, Michael Maher, and I'll see everyone next week.